There's huge struggles on and off the pitch. Morale, confidence must be pretty low. Arsenal coming to town. Yeah, it's going to be a tough afternoon, but United certainly need a spirit performance. But you'd have to fancy Arsenal.
What should the target be for United with 11 games to go?
Win as many games as they can. It's as simple
it's
as
the
that.
obvious one.
Again, it's been well documented, the problems. There's been no real reaction to the new manager coming in. Results haven't been great. A few injuries. They don't look like they've got many goals in them. Not great at set pieces. They don't look very dynamic. Still not convinced with the goalkeeper. We keep discussing this every time we focus on United. So many problems, but they have to try and get some belief, confidence back into the group. Find something from within the dressing room. We keep talking about what's going on around the club. Find a spirited performance, a little bit of luck, and they might get a result. But again, if Arsenal turn up and they're at their best, you'd have to fancy them.
Gary, if you were the most optimistic Manchester United fan in the room, and I'm not sure that you are, what would you have to cling on to right now?
For this season, or
and the future?
I mean, you'd hang on the hope that maybe the manager needs a pre-season, that he needs more recruitment. You'd think about the fact that he's really struggled since he's come in. You'd maybe think about... I'm struggling at the moment. I have to say, I think what's happened over the last 10 years that the club is coming home to roost right now at this moment in time. The fans are angry. They're going to process today. I think that when you see that Manchester United have gone from the richest football club, well, in the world, to not being able to feed their own staff, that is a massive demise. And what's hitting now on the pitch is hitting off the pitch as well. The debt, the poor recruitment, the lack of ability to find the performance, and now the 15th in the league, which I never thought I'd see Manchester United 15th in the league in March. So there's not a lot to look upon other than the fact that the manager does retain an element of optimism, and you hope that he can be supported and get it right for next season. But this season's a bit of a write-off.
I tried to be positive. It's not gone very well. Let's have a look at what it looked like before Ruben Amorim compared to what it has been since his time in charge. Just as a basic look at some statistics, Jamie, their points per game has dropped, their goals per game has gone up, but you can see the goals conceded has also climbed. One thing I suppose is a slight surprise. He did talk about how hard he wanted his teams to work before he came in, but pressures per 90 minutes are down, and so too are the sprints. In what ways do you think he has done well?
Well, it's difficult to say has he done well. Roy said it, it's not a dynamic team, so you can't all of a sudden expect them to turn into incredible athletes that are going to get box to box and start to change that. I think he will. What I do like about him is his honesty. He's under no illusions. I think there's been other managers that have almost been delusional to a certain extent, where they come out after games when they were popped off the pitch, they couldn't get near anybody, the performance was bad, the score was bad, and they said, you know what, we've actually done all right today. No, you haven't. You were poor. And I think he knows that. He knows his squad isn't good enough. It's going to take a lot of time. I think his honesty is there. Is there any performances or anything really, if you're a Manchester United fan, to clean on and say, yeah, we are going to get better here? Absolutely not right now. But I still think you have to give this manager time. I think it'd be ludicrous to get rid of him now. I think he needs a little bit of time. On a positive, they could still win the Europa League and get Champions League football. And there's not that many good teams in that competition. That is a possibility. Could you see him doing it right now? It's hard to guess with the way that they're playing. But I think he certainly needs more time. That's for sure.
I just grabbed the programme, Jamie, because you made a point that he's actually made again in his programme notes today, Ruben Amorim. He's almost doubled down on this point about needing time and needing patience, but he says we have a clear aim to get back to a world where we're competing at the top end of the Premier League while being honest about where we are today. So he doesn't seem like he's under
Roy
any
and I
kind
did
of
the
illusion.
Ipswich game, and we both said after the game, if they'd gone on a run of winning 6-7 games, it might have just papered over so many cracks. At least you know now what you have to do, and the squad is going to take a lot of time. Gary said the recruitment's been so poor for many years now. That has to change.
He said as well this week, Paul, that he wants the time, and he's not sure he'll be afforded the same time that Mikel Arteta has been at Arsenal. Do you think this is a more pressurised job here at Manchester United?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's one of the biggest clubs in the world. It's not the biggest team in the world, but they are still one of the biggest clubs in the world. So, yeah, the pressure here is like no other. It's not, Arsenal's a big club, don't get me wrong, but nothing's like Man United in England, in my opinion. So the pressure is on. I hope he gets time. There's a lot to be done, though. It's not like before where the fair play rules come in now. You can't go and buy Tom, Dick and Harry. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be careful what you do. And I think Man United are in a situation now like the lad they bought, the fullback from Lecce. they're in that market where it's going to be a heads or tails whether they're going to be a good player or not a good player, because it's not the Premier. We don't know until they get to the Premier League. So for me, it's going to take a long time. I think, and I mean a long time. I don't think he'll be here when it's changed, because I think it'll be 5, 6, 7, 8 years time. I think.
Yeah, we always talk about giving a manager time. You try and say that for most managers will go into any club, but you can't keep losing football matches either. And I could say that for most clubs. If you're losing week in, week out, there'll be doubts in the dressing room. I always try and get in the players' mindset. They'll be looking at the manager and they'll be saying, what are you bringing to the party? And when there's literally been no reaction to him come into the club, well, that's not a good sign either. But the standards have been dropping at the club for a number of years. And have they reached rock bottom? Maybe there's a bit to go yet.
15th right now, Manchester United, 15th in the table.
Hello and welcome, United fans. Today, we need to have an honest and raw discussion about the state of our club. Roy Keane and Gary Neville have not held back in their latest analysis of Manchester United's struggles. And to be fair, can you blame them? The performances on the pitch, the issues off it, the uncertainty surrounding the squad, and now sitting 15th in the league, it's becoming harder and harder to defend what's happening at our club. Keane put it bluntly, United's confidence is shattered, and there's no real identity or spirit in this team. Injuries have played their part, yes, but let's be real, this squad hasn't reacted well to the new manager, and it doesn't look like they have many goals in them. We're poor at set pieces, lacking dynamism, and even now, questions still remain about the goalkeeper. It's the same conversation every single week. Meanwhile, Arsenal are coming to Old Trafford next, and honestly, how many of you genuinely believe we can get a result? If they show up and play their best football, let's be real, we could be in for another long afternoon. But before we continue, if you're a passionate United fan who loves getting real, no-nonsense discussions about our club, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We bring you the latest Manchester United updates, match reactions, and transfer news, so don't miss out. Now back to the bigger picture. Gary Neville summed it up perfectly. This is the reality of a decade of mismanagement coming back to haunt United. He pointed out that we've gone from the richest club in the world to one that can't even afford to pay staff properly. Let that sink in. The debt, the poor recruitment, the instability. These problems aren't new, but now they're reflecting directly on the pitch. And the worst part, there's not even a clear sign of improvement. Even the most optimistic United fan would struggle to find hope right now. Maybe the manager needs a proper pre-season. Maybe he needs new signings. But let's be honest, we've heard that before. And do you really see this squad challenging again anytime soon? Some pundits are saying it could take 5, 6, even 8 years to rebuild. Do we have that kind of patience? And more importantly, will the owners even back the manager properly? It's a mess. And let's not sugarcoat it. Right now, United are a club in crisis. But what do you think? Can United salvage anything from this season? Or is it a complete write-off? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, glory, Man United.